What's going on, everybody? Landon here with Home Service Business Coach. And to my right or your left, Dave. What's going on, Dave?
What's up, brother? I'm pumped for this one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, especially whenever you're watching this, we're just coming off. We're a couple weeks into January now, man. And really excited for kind of what the year has to bring, man. So maybe before we get into deposits and everything you guys need to know about deposits, 2025, one thing Dave's looking forward to.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to, we talked about this, man. I'm actively have a personal goal of simplifying my life. So I'm going into the different departments of my life. I made actually a 5-year painted picture. I got it. I didn't tell you, I got it up on my wall right here.
Sir.
Literally December 31st, 2029.
Love it.
I was running my coaching guys through that exercise this week. Drawing out what does life look like in 5 years. So my first initial goal is, Dave, you got too much stuff going on. We need to start hacking some things, tightening up some things, saying yes, less. And so I'm in a 12-month period of simplification.
No, I love that, man. Because one thing that was ringing true last year in life and this year as well too is that simplicity piece, right? And it was funny because we were at our meeting for mapping out HSBC for this year. And I mentioned simplicity. You're like, dude, I'm on that. And then we had Jackson
too.
He's like, same thing. So I'm like, okay, at least all three of us are on the same mind and aligned with it. But yeah, I'm more looking forward to as well where HSBC is going to be in a year because of the iterations we make, the improvements that we can constantly make. We just have to, our problem isn't ideas to make the program better. It's siphoning out what actually is going to impact the members and have the most bang for buck. Yeah. And I think that as long as we simplify that stuff and not get too caught out in the different weeds here, 2025 is going to be a great year.
Well, man, we learned that at Summit too. For those listening, watching, like we have our top members actually fly up to Vancouver, BC, Canada. We host them for 3 days in probably like the best hotel in the country, I think.
Well, prettiest view.
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean of Rocky Mountains. Like, come on.
Totally. Yeah. We won't say the hotel for those that are going to crash our event, but it's a nice one. And a big thing we get out of it, man, of course we teach and train and have guest speakers and everything. It's lots of fun. But for me, it's the interacting with the members, and it's actually hooking my brain up to theirs in a two-way channel. One is I'm going to help them make their business better this year. And in coming back, I'm just asking them for feedback on how do we actually make this program better. And I think that's like business 101. Get in front of your customers and have some real life conversations with them.
Yeah, because again, I've probably said this before too, like just sitting down and being able to interview, Doug and Kelly or Trey or Antonio, even though you took that one with Antonio last year, just to like, meeting Ryan in Nashville, Zach in Nashville.
Yeah, Alex, Clark, Chemo, Andrea, like the list there's no end, man.
Yeah, it's endless. Kirk, all these different guys, just like that's then you realize, oh shit, pardon my French, this actually matters. Yeah. We're doing a good thing here. But
that's what fires us up, man. Like I'll say it every week. You change someone's small business, you change their life, 100%.
Yep, absolutely. But I think it's time for a review.
Let's do it, man.
This one's coming from Daniel Lee, and this is for those that are interior cleaners specifically. So, Daniel Lee. Over the past 9 months with Home Service Business Coach, my experience has been nothing short of transformative. They've provided me with the tools and strategies to build my interior cleaning business from the ground up. Their hands-on coaching and proven systems help me streamline operations, attract high-quality clients, and significantly grow my revenue. The team's guidance and support have been invaluable, giving me the confidence and clarity to scale my business. If you are serious about taking your home service business to the next level, HSBC is the partner you need. Okay.
Boom. Drop the mic.
Daniel, thank you very much for that review. Fun fact I learned from Daniel, I think it was at our meeting.
Yeah.
Daniel, if you're listening to this, man, congratulations. I know when we first spoke, you wanted to move to South America. Daniel actually has done that. He lives, I think, 6 months out of the year in Colombia.
Wow. It's amazing.
In Medellin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Medellin or something.
Medellin or
it's
something
like an
like that.
entrepreneurial hub, I think.
Hub of like Latin America. Yeah. So for those that are listening, does this work? You tell me. Go look at our results. But to you specifically, Daniel, well done. And if you are wanting to, again, how do I grow my interior cleaning, exterior, landscape, and plumbers? Like, you're seeing the sign, homeservicebusinesscoach.com.
But how much did we teach Daniel about interior cleaning? Like, this is the mind warp I just want to hit for a sec. Like, oh, will it work for my industry? Well, do you run a small business? Are you going in and out of homes and businesses every day? Like, we're not telling Daniel what kind of cleaning. I don't even know what kind of rags you'd use. Chamois rags, maybe. I don't even know how to clean a window. Like, Zippo% of it is technical training.
Yep.
Rip YouTube, Facebook groups, knock yourself out. We're going to actually teach you how to run a real business, man. The guy's got his business running in the Pacific Northwest while he lives in Colombia.
Yeah.
Like,
he's from the Seattle area. Exactly.
How did that happen? That's amazing. So thanks for sharing that review. That's great.
Yeah. And just like one thing, how can you guys help my business? We can provide all the training, the systems, the coaching, accountability, roadmap, guidance, you name it. But what we can't do is implement the stuff. It does fall on you. And Daniel's a prime example of, look, he got everything. He was hungry. He showed up, just again, another one of our guys showing up, ready to do the work, implemented. And he's been with us for, I think, about 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, I was going to say
too.
Almost a year.
Yeah. He's
totally
coming up there, which is crazy. Time
awesome.
flies. But anyways, let's get into deposits here. Enough of us rattling about. Deposits are one of, maybe you can answer this a bit more, Dave. Sure. Deposits are so controversial.
Yeah.
And I think that when we're, talking to guys, coaching guys, even me on the front end as well too, just talking with you guys, deposits always stir a mix of emotions. So Dave, what's your opinion?
An answer to the question. I don't like answering questions to the question, but who are the people, Landon, that have issues with deposits? They're the freaking people that don't charge deposits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where the murmuring, it's the same people that coaching doesn't work. The people that say coaching works are those investing in coaching, getting mentorship and growing. So like, period, full stop. If you say deposits, they're controversial, they don't work, this and that, it's because you've not taken the leap and actually done it in your business. Or if you did, you went about it in the wrong way. And that's why we want to make this content. But I think, man, the big picture, why it's controversial, anytime you challenge someone's beliefs for how they've always done something, they're going to get a little, their collar's a little tighter, get a little hotter in the room. That's what's happening. And people get a little bit uncomfortable when you poke in and challenge the way they've always done something.
And again, when I started working at Revive Buddy, like, deposits was a thing. And I, as the salesperson, never batted an eye at it. Again, I didn't know the industry, which again is like, it was such a benefit looking back. I didn't know how this industry operated when I first got into it. So I brought all this, I don't want to say white collar, but the dress shoes, deposits are a norm. Why the hell wouldn't we charge deposits?
Like,
that was my mindset.
You professionalize the company in our sales department, I would say.
Yeah.
From your dress to your haircut. I know I give you a hard time.
Yeah, but the haircut.
Deposits too is just normal.
Yeah, exactly. And that just goes to show like your belief on deposits, right? Like, if I came in, I didn't have an opinion about deposits because I've just always done that. It's like, what other way is there to operate business? It just makes sense. Yeah. And this goes right to your point. It's controversial because, again, it goes against the belief, but then I challenge you and say, one job. Yeah. Just ask on a, you don't even have to ask on a $2,000 job. Ask on like a $300 job. Yeah. If you lose it, that's your fear. Yeah. All it is you're scared of losing the sale. And then if I keep doing that, then my revenue, I won't be able to pay. And then that's a spiral. Stop the spiral of thinking. Do it on a $300 job. And I guarantee almost 99% of the time, they will assume, because everybody else is charging deposits. The customer nowadays is completely used to this.
Yep. So quickly on my story with deposits, man, I ran through college painting. I actually use the fact we don't charge a deposit as like a value add in that. Like, it's funny because it's like, I was like 20 years old, didn't have a track record. So it was very much like in the sales process, you don't
use what you got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then once my painting business evolved, year 5, 6, 7, we went with a 10% deposit, which was great. Someone locks in a $3,000 paint job, I'd walk out with a $300 check, and ideally with colors, like selling a job on the spot. Like, that's huge for confidence. Then when Revive got started, I actually thought not necessary. I'm not buying materials like what's a squirt of Dawn dish soap and a Huck towel worth, right?
Yeah.
You don't need it. So we ran the first 3 years, no deposit, just didn't think anything of it. And then we turned it on in like 2019 to 2020, going into that season. And man, we went right out of the gate 50%, like 50. I don't care what your service is or what the dollar size is. We just went straight up. This is our policy. And this is where business owners get hung up. It's not an elective thing. They go in sheepishly like, could you maybe kind of pay a deposit? You just go in with confidence, and maybe you can speak to that because you did it enough times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I want to get into, and maybe we'll dive into it right now, is, how do you charge deposits? And my first point is you simply ask.
Yeah.
This is company policy. This is just what we do. When you, clear communication comes across the board. And when you sit there and, even in your relationship, right? If your spouse asks you where you were, you hesitate. And I just had this, man. I was in the border. I'm famous for going at 6 a.m. to go get gas, once a week.
Did you go today?
I went on Monday. I was like, low. Anyways, the guy, the Canadian border guard, starts questioning me. Guess where? He starts questioning, I'm 12 different questions.
Yeah.
I hesitated on one of them. Next thing you know, he's out the booth looking through my car.
Yeah.
It was a short search. And again, obviously nothing was found. But at the same token, hesitation led a border guard to be like, this guy might be guilty. What is that saying when you hesitate to your customers and you're not like, yeah, we do kind of chart, your customer's going to be like, no, this guy's a fraud.
Yeah. I was going to ask if the border guy was asking how much muscle mass you put on over the
Yeah,
week.
right, buddy. Yeah, right. They don't like we work from home. I'll tell you that.
No, man. But it's such a big point is confidence and selling with conviction. And I would encourage you just to get that first one out of the way. Let's just say your example, it's a $300 job. Go in and tell the customer, we charge a 20% deposit.
Yeah.
No one really asks even why. But if they did ask why, what we say, it shows good faith from our customers to book a spot in our really busy production schedule that we're going to be able to service you to the full extent of our service.
Yeah, literally.
Something like that. There's no need to say, oh, for my materials or for my guys, your customer doesn't care. Just say that it's policy. And for me, anything I'm buying now, if I'm bargaining in good faith to intend to follow through, I got no issues paying a deposit.
Well, I mean, that's my other point as well, too, is that somebody, if they want to do something, they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just simple as that. If you want to be coached by us and come on board, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. If you want to buy a new car, it's going to happen. If you want to get in shape, you're going to do that. And it's the exact same thing with the deposits too. If somebody wants to use your service, a deposit isn't going to deter them, because at the end of the day, you need to go back into the sales process and be like, okay, they were obviously hesitant because when they said yes.
Yep.
And then I asked them to make a commitment on that yes, they start to withdraw. Mm-hmm. The deposit isn't doing that. It's something back in your sales process.
Yep.
So we need to look at that instead of demonizing deposits.
And it calls the customer out on their BS too, man. Because how many people, I remember years ago, man, I was on a painting estimate. The guy, I always said, if you're not going with us, are you planning to go and get another quote? Mm-hmm. And the guy told me he's collecting 12 estimates. And I was like, my good, I was just upset. I never booked the job. I was surprised. But I'm like, man, is that crazy? Go and get 3 quotes, 4 quotes, maybe 5 if it's big. But at a certain point, man, this guy, if he's getting 12 bids, I guarantee you he would beat you up on the deposit, because some people make a sport around shopping your services and going online and reading reviews because they got nothing better to do. Yeah. That is a low value customer that is not worth your time. So the fact that you throw out a deposit, it's like playing tennis. It's like, I'm going to be there at 10 for a quote. I'm going to text you on the way. We're going to walk around. I'm going to ask questions. Here's the quote. This is when we can do it. Here's the deposit. It's just hitting a ball over a net. But so many service providers, I think, screw up that process and then when they just wing out for a deposit, it's like nothing else in your process has been professional to lead me to want to pay that deposit.
Oh, come on. That stings a bit because it is true.
Yeah.
People do business with, we've said this a million times, they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And I talk to so many of you, and it's like, Landon, I'm great at sales. I can talk to anybody till I'm blue in the face. And I'm like, brilliant. I love that. I out of good faith will 1000% take your word for that. Mm-hmm. And then if the question of a deposit comes up or something like that, if there's hesitation, it's just because that there's fear there. And that goes, like, it goes to marketing and anything. Like, fear often holds us back from doing what we know we need to do. Mm-hmm. And if, again, nothing else, find a person or an organization to say, I already know you're scared of that thing. You need to do it anyways. Because what is that costing you in your business? Not doing deposits means you, instead of buying equipment in March, you have to wait until the job's complete in April.
Yep.
You have to wait 45 days. That's what it's costing you.
Yep. Yeah, man. And there's just so much to it that in sales, when it comes time for a consumer to buy, when you have them at the finish line, they're good with the date, the job, the price. Yep. Proceed to the next step. Lock in that job, because if you don't, the customer goes away from the deal. Reptilian brain, I'm out for drinks with my spouse. Oh man, you're charged $1,400 to clean the roof. No, let me go call my nephew. He can do it. He's gonna come do it this weekend for $400. Everyone knows this, man. You get a text message that night. Hey, we actually had a family member.
Yep.
So sorry. Wish you the best with your business. Blah, 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 blah. Because you didn't lock in that deposit, you cause that customer to keep searching for a solution. Nephew's not going to do a good job. They're going to come back. So safeguard your client from going down those poor choice options and just get the deposit, lock it in, and they can close off that. I call it, you close off a browser in your brain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my fence fixed right now. I don't want to shop it's a browser in my brain, man. I just want to get that booked, paid, done.
And your best clients are those type of people. Just like our best clients, there's not a real hesitation.
100%, man.
There's always going to be something. And there's always going to be something that could have been gone smoother, been better, whether in the marketing process, the sales process. Your guys left a reg. How many reviews and how many times that Revive, your guys left a reg or left like a little piece of thing, but I gave you a 5-star review anyways.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. And your client needs to understand that, again, the deposit is one of your first signs.
Yeah.
And if you're going throughout the sales process and you're like, man, dude, like I've had these, and I'd be like, I purposely would be like, I'd wrap it up. I would charge the price high because I already know they're going to say no, so that I could get the heck out of there. Because I'm like, you know what? This is an absolute nightmare, especially when they start trash talking. Yeah. I'm not going to say the area, but Dave, you know the area. They start trash talking the other contractors. House looks disastrous. I'm like, I don't know. Are we going to do this? I don't know.
Man, and I'll tell a quick story why I think this is landing. Is I was on a call with a buddy of mine, and he runs he places virtual assistants in home service businesses. And we get on once a month and kind of challenge each other what we're doing. It's a really cool relationship. But I challenged him yesterday. I said, have you ever looked outside of home services to place a VA? And he started laughing. And I said, like, what are you laughing? He said, man, in my research, the home service industry lags tech, real estate. He listed all by about 10 years, he said. That a VA, if you walk into a real estate firm, they're like laughing at you because they're like, yeah, we've had one for 5 years. Like we're good. But trades businesses are like, why didn't I hire, like Daniel's got a VA. Yeah. Why didn't I hire a VA soon? You're like, our industry's so far behind. So the fact that this deposit, you're listening and you're getting uncomfortable. Like put it this way, if you don't charge a deposit right now and you legally can in your area, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah. I would say, because you are running a very unprofessional business, and you might fight me on that and say, none of my competitors do it. Your competitors also don't have branded trucks. They don't wear good uniforms. They're charging too cheap for their work, and they don't charge deposits. So if you want to join that barrel of monkeys that's pulling each other down, go ahead. But for me, I'd rather build a better mousetrap and build like a purple unicorn business that's different. And if you want that, then you'll charge deposits.
Yeah. And just look at anybody you admire. Do you think Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Doors charges deposits?
100%.
We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
We've spoken to Tommy about this. If they're doing it, why aren't you? Okay, we've hiked up deposits. What are some downsides? And then we'll get into some other upsides.
Yep.
So I'll kind of rip this off.
Do it.
We've mentioned this already, and that is customer hesitation, right? And the thing I will say to you, if you are scared of losing the job, you got to trial it. Do it on a small job. Again, lower your barrier in order for you to take action on the thing. It's psychology 101. If the customer is hesitant, you don't want to lose the sale. My question becomes to you, if someone wanted to actually do something, why would they hesitate? Okay. So I'm going to challenge you on that. Second thing, and this is huge, Dave, get this a lot.
Yep.
Unclear guidelines,
Yep.
which could turn into legal implications. Now, what do we mean by this is you have questions. You've probably thought these already. What happens if they want to cancel? Do I keep the deposit? Where do I write it in? Do I write it into the quote? Do I send them a separate email with my legal document? Like, oh, it's just like an endless thing. Yeah. It comes back to clear communication. And you need to sit down, and even if it's 4 guidelines, for crying out loud,
Yeah.
don't be so stingy to where you keep all the money. If somebody cancels, like the easiest way to not ever have a legal obligation is to say, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your money back. And you'll never have a legal implication. Dave, at Revive, 10 people do deposits. How many of them are requesting refunds?
I would say on 10, like none, but I would say on 100, I'd know better with my office team, but on 100, maybe 1 or 2. Like it's
not
very
even
rare.
measurable.
No, it's
almost.
not even to really have like this crazy drawn out policy. Like for us, I think we do a good job on our sales side, but it's still in our terms and conditions.
Yeah.
We do say it's non-refundable, but man, we're all human here. And like the greatest way to, like my business coach always told me, because we always generally know the answers, we have to talk it out. He's like, Dave, just do the next right thing. And I'm like, this person, like I was coaching one of my guys, I won't say his name, but he had a $5,000 Christmas light job lock in. They paid a deposit, $2,500. He's stoked. He's celebrating. Week later, they canceled. Dave, what should I do? I'm like, my man, like do the next right thing. And he knew it was right based on the circumstance to shoot them the money back.
Yeah.
And you know, it's all on a case by case basis. But generally for me, doing the right thing is taking the high road, and life happens, and here you go. If they go and shop your bid and get someone, that's why we say up front it's non-refundable. So that is the frame. If you go, it's a fully refundable deposit, just put down $49, you're gonna have people canceling left, right, and center.
Yep.
But you say it's non-refundable and you lock it in. The only thing I want to say on a legal note, and we're not attorneys by any stretch of the
lawyers,
imagination.
none of that.
None of
We don't
that.
consult.
However, I believe it's in California, if you're a certain type of contractor, I think it's in like home renovations, like legally, you're actually not allowed to charge a deposit. So I would say just look into that. We don't work with too many of those.
No, like
contractors.
home remodeling and stuff like that. No,
But like generally for property service stuff, like I've not seen it in North America where it's like legally you're not allowed.
Yep.
And I think the reason for that is just there's probably been issues with people saying pay a deposit and then
they're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It as a customer, 100%. If your BS meter and red flag meter is going ding ding ding, I wouldn't give someone money. But like so much of coaching and mentorship and growth is just becoming the type of person worthy of commanding a deposit.
No.
And like you've sold enough people into our coaching program every day, man. Authenticity and how genuine you guys are.
Yeah.
And like when you lock in those two things and people, you have their trust, then the deposit is just normal.
Yeah. And again, this ties back to, I mean, what doesn't it tie back into? Like we could go really into the weeds here of your brand, of your customer journey. What is your website? What are your
reputation?
reviews? Yeah. Like everything from start to finish, right? Did they hear about somebody? Did you bring, a 12-person list that is looking to get the same service? And like, here's what they've said about the roof washing we've done. Like, do you have your sales book? Like endless amount of stuff that a deposit ties into, but at the same thing. And at the same time, if you don't have those things, you shouldn't feel confident charging a deposit. And then how much is that going to take for you to, because charging a deposit, you might mean you're missing 10 different things to build that customer certainty. Mm-hmm. You should start charging deposits, but also on the same token, why isn't those 10 things being done? Yeah. What's the roadblock? What's holding you in the way? That's what we do here at Home Service Business Coach. Where do you want to go? Let's remove the roadblock and help you get there.
Yeah, totally. So if you want to take the next step in scaling your business to the next level, you're going to want to check out our Scaling Blueprint program. We've worked with hundreds of home service business owners now all around the world, where we've actually built out the systems for them in their customized branding and provided them with coaching from our 7-figure coaching team. If you want to learn more about that opportunity, then go ahead and click the link right here. Now let's get back to the episode. One thing I want to hit on, man, is we got it here.
Ooh, okay. So some upsides.
Well, we missed
a couple.
We missed one clear one, man. Like, yeah, you attract better customers, I would say. But secondarily, and maybe more important, man, like we need to hit on positive cash flow in your business, because you talk to enough service business owners that come into our program. They, like, if you boiled everything away, saving time, building systems, like, they want to make more money.
It's cash flow.
Yeah, it's cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow is king. If you have a lead problem, if you have a hiring problem, if you have an organizational problem, if you're stuck on the tools, pretty much you don't know your numbers. I mean, that's kind of a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Any problem we solve, it all directly comes into the bucket of cash flow, because you wouldn't have a lead problem if you had enough cash flow to throw at that problem.
Yeah.
And you had the right team obviously around you too.
Yeah.
So when I talk to, again, individuals, we get into the slow season and they're like, I can't do this thing right now because I have no cash flow and my season starts in April.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Instead of just, that's the reality of the situation, we know that's not the reality of the situation. So what are some things that we can start to work on? Because the downtime, Dave, this is when you built your business.
You build your container, 100%.
1,000%. Yeah. So this is the time. We're never going to get this much time again the entire rest of the year. We're just not going to get that. But the cash flow is going to improve. But then I'm like, Lenny, I don't have the time to put this thing in. Deposits are one of the biggest bang for buck yield you can possibly do in the slow season to generate that positive cash flow. We're just talking when one of the members went out and bought 6
surface cleaners.
Surface cleaners, 6 power washers, right? Amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's what, January 9th? How the hell was
we
he able
did
to
it in
do that?
December.
Oh, we did it in
Got
December.
some good write-offs. I won't say his name, but like, smart, switched on entrepreneur.
But he charges deposits too.
100%.
Yes.
All of our best clients do, man.
Always.
Like, and that's even bigger than HSBC and home services. It's just service businesses generally, like, have some dignity, have some respect, and charge out what you're worth. But what I want to hit on, man, is like, this is an unlock, especially for hyper seasonal businesses. Okay. Lan and I are in Canada. My cleaning business Revives here on the West Coast. January and February are really tough months for us from a cash flow perspective. That just is what it is.
Yep.
But man, here's what happens is March, we get our season up and going, still like not ripping like we are in April and May, but it's a transition month. What our office team does is they reach out to our customers in February and start filling up March. We give them this is like gold. We give them 5% off their service, early bird discount. We book them in for March and we take a deposit that flies into us about 4 weeks ahead of time. Yep. So if those calls are going out February 10, February 15, February 20, we start having 50% deposits. Our jobber account is going bing, 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 bing. March is filling up. Yeah, we're giving a little bit of a discount, but we've got cash flow ripping in as early as mid-February. So me as the owner, I'm sweaty right now. It's early mid-January. As a month from now, we'll start seeing those deposits come in. Okay, we're good. So I just compressed down the sweaty cash flow time from about 8 to 10 weeks, and I've shrunk it down to like 4 to 6. That's the power of deposits coming in for a seasonal business.
Mic drop. Another thing I want to touch on that too. It's the same cycle almost every single year, Dave.
Yeah, it's nothing new.
Yet I've been in business line in 2, 3, 4. If you've been in business for 1 or more years and you're still like, I have to wait. If you're still experiencing the same problem year after year after year, it's not the market. It wasn't the election season. It's probably because you're not adapting, because you're like, oh no, that thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, cash flow is king. Cash flow is cash flow. You either got cash or got not. So again, what's easier? And if, again, too, this comes into how you're managing cash flow the rest of the season, because if you can't survive 4 to 6 weeks without a check coming in the door, that's the real issue.
Yeah.
It isn't anything else. That's the real issue.
Yeah.
And deposits help bring in that cash flow. Like Dave said, shrink that window.
Yeah, man. And it's all good to save and plan and prepare. And I'm a big planner and love to be prepared, right? That we're not saying throw caution to the wind and rip it, right? Like spend your last dollar on our program. We're certainly not saying that.
No.
What we are arguing though is I think there's a better way to run your business. And
1000%.
I think the passion coming from you, Landon, is just you've been on probably pushing like 2,000 assessment calls now, that we're seeing a lot of our, not a lot, but I would say a good amount of our prospects in the trades business want a better run business, but they're better at looking out a window than they are in a mirror. They want to look left and right and say, because of this, because of that, or I'll do this when the time's right. That same person, let's call them Tom, you can hit up in June and he'll say cash flow is better, but he has no time. So I will get to that in the winter. They tend to be such poor planners that they're so reactive. And they're like, I literally got a text message for a job. I need to jump in my truck and go and do that. It's like, that's the worst thing you can do. How about you plan out a little bit, set a production date, and work on building out some systems. Let's get a deposit system in place. Let's get some sell sheets in place. Like, these are all things that most owners, I'd say, are just missing. And that creates a really rat race down to the bottom type of home service industry that unfortunately we find ourselves in. But if you figure this stuff out, it's like playing a video game on easy.
Yeah, dude, it's like it's a blue ocean, right?
Yeah,
I was speaking with an individual from Australia. Shout out you Aussies or New Zealanders listening. 3 years. He's no, it was 4 years, because I asked him this question 4 years ago. He first spoke with you. We first found
with me,
with you.
Yeah, nice.
8 years in business, so half of his business time he's listened and known about HSBC.
4 years, wow.
And I'm like, why are we here? Why now? It's been 4 years. Why not 2 years ago? Why now? Landon, I just needed to do as much as I could on my own. And then the second that he's like, that's what he said. And then he's like, that was my thought process.
Did you join?
Hey, he's coming on board.
Nice.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, 4 years, we'll throw this guy a party.
Yeah, right. I do. Seriously, right? And on that, he's like, I wish I didn't wait so long. I wonder, again, the opportunity cost. Now I know what my limit is. Opportunity cost, where could have been though? If I would have gotten out of my own way sooner.
Yeah.
So that's maybe a warning on the deposits, but more importantly, a little bit of life advice too.
Well, man, and people might say, oh, only legit companies charge deposits, or I'll charge when I'm ready. It's like, I was thinking
You'll
about
never be ready.
That's the thing, man. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, our son is like 1.5 years. I'm like, what I know now, like we weren't ready, man. Like, it's like, this is crazy, right? And I'm like, I wasn't ready to run 2 businesses. I wasn't ready, man. Okay, literally right now, we're raising a busy toddler. I'm doing some stuff on real estate. I'm running 2 companies, and I just paid my business coach. What is it? Thursday today on Tuesday. I hired a business coach. I'm like, this is probably the worst time in my life with how little I'm sleeping. We got our summit coming up. There's so much happening that it's like, there is very, very like next to no capacity to hire a business coach, but I did it anyways, man, because I'm committing this year to achieving some personal goals and professional goals. There's no good time. And so,
isn't that what sacrifice is?
Yeah, man, you just have to like, the fact to like let the stars align and be a perfect time for coaching. Like it, man, my last coach I hired, $36,000. Okay. Paid a guy $36,000. I had COVID when I paid that. And the reason I did it, my wife was like, in Canada, we had crazy restrictions. That's neither here nor there.
Yep.
I was stuck in bed. I'm like, all right, I've been around this guy. Let's just go. But my head hurt. I had a headache, but I'm like, I can't leave my house. Like, let's just rock and roll. So it's like, that was the last previous coach. Like, the time is never right. married, kids, get all this in order. Like, no, you just need to dive in.
Yeah. Dive into the deposits, dive into coaching. And I guess maybe I'll throw this to you, Dave. Are you born like that, or are you molded into like that? Your way of thinking. You look at a thing and you either see the cost or you see the potential upside. Do you think you're born that way, or have you rewired yourself to look at things
I
like
will
that?
speak just to how it's happened for me. It's been like a rewiring process, and I would say we're 2025 now, so I would say it's been like a 9-year journey for me. And my it's funny. It's actually oftentimes my mother-in-law, Alex's mom, busts my chops often because she's like, how your mentality has changed. I used to always be, man, you interviewed Alex and me. Like, I got upset with her for losing a loonie in Canada. That's not even $1 now. But it's less than $1. And my girlfriend at the time, she left it at a car wash because I would literally spend $6 and I would go like a madman and clean the car. And she left one of the loonies on the post, and like my whole night was ruined because I'm like, how could she be so irresponsible with $1? And now
making a mountain out of a molehill.
Exactly, man. And now my mentality is like, there's so much money in the world to create value and help people.
No.
You lead with value, the money will come. It's like, I don't even think about that loonie anymore other than a comical story. So my mentality has completely shifted around investment and being open to change and there being a better way to do things. But I've been chipping away at this old school, cheap, frugal mindset for, I would say, 9 years.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So it is a process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it too. I believe it too.
Like, what about for you?
Rewiring. Yeah, I mean, well, man, okay, so a little stupid little simple thing. I switched from buying regular ground beef to grass-fed ground beef. I'm buying the good stuff now, right? It's about double the price. And you're like, man, if you're looking straight at the cost, again, it's a stupid little example in life, but it's the same token. I'm like, hold on a second here. How much is my health worth? I know the processing. I now know the knowledge of like what happens if I do eat it. This is the key. I tried it, and then I was like, crap. I can't unsee now the thing I need to do. And I think that would be maybe as stupid as that little meat analogy is, you just got to try it. Maybe you do have to jump 2 feet in. And maybe that's exactly what you need to do. Because you got married, terrible time. You jump both feet in anyways.
Yeah.
Started a business, wasn't the right time. Never was. You got to think, it was election year last year. Guess what? It was COVID all those years before. Yeah. And you started your freaking business.
Yeah.
Or you survived COVID. You survived probably one of the shittiest times in the last 12 years before 2008.
Yeah.
But if you continue down that line of thinking, where's that going to lead you?
Totally. I'm curious what the catalyst was though, man, to make you buy better meat. Because it's a mindset. Like, what pushed you to do that? Is it just valuing your health, or was there another factor?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Don't think too hard.
I know, I'm not thinking too hard. It was a combination. I know I needed to do it. I needed a kick in the ass.
Nice.
And Teresa, seeing how you guys are, I mean, Dave, for crying out loud, has lost like 30 pounds.
Since I got married, it's been a while.
Well, I mean, ever since Beckham, for crying out loud, I was like,
around.
holy crap. So like, you look at these other inspirations, you're like, why the hell am I not doing it? If they're valuing it, why am I not valuing it? So it's as stupid as it is, it's at the end of the day, I know what I need to do. Maybe I am scared of doing it, but I want to look at other people and be like, well, shit, if they're doing it, then why the heck am I not doing it? And you can apply that to every single aspect in life. Like, another thing, I've gotten lazy reading the last 6 months of 2024. Okay. Well, I'm going to make a commitment now and I'm going to read. Nice. And now I'm like, holy crap, I'm actually enjoying reading again.
That's great.
So it's just like, whatever you value the most is what you're going to put time, energy, and money into. If you value, and here's the catch-22 of it, if you value your dollar too much, you're not going to have enough.
Yeah, man, I love that you could mic drop that. If you value $1 too much, you're not going to have enough. It's true.
Yeah, you won't.
Back to the reading, man. Like, that's where I originally reconnected with you. You were literally in Starbucks reading, I think it was reading Think and Grow Rich. But again, with association, I was reading really heavily at that time in my life. I'm like, man, there's this young kid here reading, and I hadn't coached you, I think, in probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh man, yeah, I hadn't seen you in a while.
But it's just like,
no,
I don't know if I would have said I probably would have said hi, but I don't think I would have sat down for a convo if you weren't reading like Think and Grow Rich.
No,
I'm
I
like,
don't
this
blame
guy's
you.
reading literally my book, or that, like, I love to read. I didn't write it, but I'm like, that's a great book.
Well, I mean, when the person I was in high school versus 10 years now after the fact, there's all these different revolutions.
Unrecognizable, man.
Yeah, like, well, I appreciate that, right? And it all comes down to a whole host of things: the Lord, association, reading, habits, all that kind of stuff too. And at the end of the day, yeah, it is a rewiring, which has been our whole conversation.
Yeah.
It's the deposits, and we're also talking about rewiring the mind. So
Yeah.
figure out those two things connect, man. But Dave, we get passionate. And everybody listening, we'll wrap up here quickly. We get passionate about what we do because we know what we do and we know the impact it can have.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping is just opening up the gates to allow us to do so. And then on your turn, coming together. I've said this before. You're looking for the right vehicle to help you grow your business. We're looking for the right driver who wants to drive the vehicle to grow their business. It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way relationship. Always will be.
And man, just back to like proof on coaching, like I'll quiz you. I counted them up last night, so I know the number, but do you know how many people we've helped scale their business now? Just home service businesses.
Just home service, 320. Yeah, I'm going to go 320.
328.
Oh,
So
man.
328 people have committed to our program. We've changed the name a few times, but it's generally upgraded.
Yes,
They've
every time.
committed to the coaching calls, putting in the work, getting the systems. Now we build your playbooks, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
328 people have committed. So if that's you, congratulations on committing to your success.
Yep.
If you're one of the tens of thousands that watch this or catch a soundbite or watch on YouTube and you want to keep nurturing, bathing in the content, absolutely do that.
Yep.
But I would say there's a tipping point where you're like, man, just more info. This is good. But if your business, if your business is the best way, man, is your business stuck? Was your revenue last year in and around 10% of what it was this year? And that's a great way to look at a filter. Are you stuck? I would say most of our members are growing at a minimum goal to grow at like 25% per year.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the 80%.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
some
80%.
even more. So if that's you, I don't think we need to tell you. I think you're just going to know, like, man, we are literally, I'll end with this. I was literally on a Christmas holiday with my family, and we got an email in that caught my eye. And the guy said, I'm in Australia. I won't say his name, but I've listened to your stuff for 2 years. Pretty much said in his email, like, I'm ready to go. What's the next step? And you had this fellow onboarded within the week. And it's like, he bathed in the stuff for 2 years. Fantastic. But at a certain point, 2 years is enough. Like, now I'm committing.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was listening to it before he even had his business.
Wow. Really?
He listened to us to get started.
Wow.
He's like, when I reach 100K, I'm going to hire these guys. And he reached 100K, and now he's on board with us.
Wow.
Pretty amazing stuff, You don't know what the impact you're doing, man.
That's super cool too. And some of you, it's like, look, I'm not going to glaze past and some people are in tough spots with their business too, man. And that's, there's nothing wrong with just consuming this stuff for free. Maybe picking up the E-Myth Revisit on Amazon for $20.
I see it right there.
Yeah. Love that book. I got to revisit that. Speaking of revisiting.
Revisiting the revisited.
Yeah. But like the end of the day too, there are a plethora of things I think you can do. You can join our free contractor club. Like I think we do one of the best jobs putting out not just generalized business info, but like actually really good stuff if you have a home service business for free.
Yep.
But there is a tipping point that's like, cool, we just want to work with the implementers now. And that's why this program will never be, $97 a month come in. Like I just don't believe in low ticket because you get low results.
Yeah. And low engagement. And
so we make it all free. It's all free for everyone. And we just want to grab the top 2% of action takers that are like, give me those systems, give me the coaching, and let's rip it this year.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, and those are the best people to coach.
Yeah, and just like they're the best clients to have, people that don't bat an eye at your deposits. If you're listening to this, first and foremost, 2025, it's going to be a big year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good year. there's no more excuses. Our interest rates are going down across Canada, the US, Australia, figure it out. Secondarily, we already know who's going to be in the US. Canadians don't really let politics influence them too much, even though it's starting to now. You literally don't have a reason for why this year couldn't be the year for you. If you get around the right people, you have the right roadmap, and you implement the right things. So if you want to find out more, homeservicebusinesscoach.com. Book a call. You'll talk with me, see if we can even help you, if we like each other, and if we'd be a good fit to welcome you inside the program. So, Dave, any final thoughts? I think we covered pretty much everything here.
I think we nailed it, man. I think we'll leave the listener with, I think we make enough content. I think they know what they got to do to take action, whether that's getting on a call with you, whether that is just going into their SOPs and saying, look, enough's enough. We're going to take 2025 serious and actually charge deposits and have some respect. So I'd say do one, if not both of those tasks, I think would be great implementations off this call.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody, I appreciate you. Look forward to speaking with you in the future, and stay tuned for our next episode. We've got a really good one coming up here next week. So take care. Talk with you soon.
Let's go. Peace.